All right, welcome to the Let It Fly show inside the world-famous Let It Fly Sports Bar in the Capital District. This man is Josh Jones, of course, from Creighton and Omaha Central. I am Michael Severe, and football is right around the corner.
Football
when this
back,
drops,
baby.
this is going to drop on Wednesday.
Yep.
That means they will be 2 weeks and 1 day away from Nebraska in Kansas City playing Cincinnati.
And I know you're going.
I'll be there.
Right.
I'll be there. We're going down on Wednesday. We're going to meet some friends down there. Go get some barbecue, hang out. You know, just kind of hang out all day on Thursday. Go visit some stuff. Go to the Negro League Museum.
Right.
Haven't been there. I'm going to go to that.
Right.
There's also like a blues museum.
We'll
do that as well on Thursday.
Oh,
and then,
kick it.
And go to the game. Yeah, we have a good time. And then go about 4 o'clock.
Right.
That's when they're opening the gates.
Yeah.
We'll go. We'll do a little tailgating.
Yeah, I was
go
going
cover
to
the
do that,
game,
man. But I decided that I want to go catch the Michigan-Nebraska game at home.
Okay.
That's
week 4.
My father-in-law, my brother-in-law, they are to Michigan what Omaha people are to the Huskers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or Nebraska is to the Huskers.
I got it. I understand.
Like, Michigan lose, don't talk to them all day. Huskers lose, I know people that's like, don't talk about them all day.
Reminder again, specials every day of the week, whether it is on Monday with some pizza pies, all the way to Friday with the Friday French dip, which I just recommended to our guests to get for dinner as well. And then, of course, brought to you by Bud Light.
They make it easy, man.
They make everything easy, easy to drink, easy to enjoy, whether you're watching tennis or you're watching an old football game from last year or you're watching golf or whatever else, and soon watching football. I also want to remind you that they have happy hour. That happy hour 3 to 6 and the reverse happy hour from 10 to 1 when I'm sleeping. That's what's happening then.
Me too.
We're going to be chatting with the longtime columnist from the Omaha World Herald, Tom Shatel, will join us. We'll go over a bunch of different things. Tom's always got great stories.
Yes. He always keeps it real, too.
I mean, you think about it, from 1991 to now, that's 34 years.
Right.
35 seasons worth of football.
Yep.
And to go from where he was in his first 5 or 6 years with Nebraska, winning 3 championships in 4 years, to this run of not having a bowl win for all those years and haven't won a conference championship since 1999.
He's seen a lot.
He's seen a lot, man. We'll chat with him about all of that. Real quick, we'll do headlines. So today, Nebraska had one of their last real practices. They only have about 7 practices left before their first game. And so we went down there to open it to the media. We went down there, and we got a good announcement on Monday night. The single-digit numbers.
Okay.
So that's their new thing that they were starting to do when he got here, when Rhule got here.
Yep.
So we got 2 new ones.
Yep.
Riley Van Poppel, who I'm a huge fan of, big fan of his. He's got number 5.
Love it.
Defensive tackle, Riley Van Poppel.
That was my basketball jersey number.
And then Dane Key, the transfer from Kentucky, he's got number 6. Tommy Hill had that last year, and so he's got that. And then you got 0, 2, 4, and 9.
0 is an awesome number.
Are still remaining, right? Last year, Nat Nash Hutmaker had it.
So do you got to earn that?
Yeah, it's voted on by the players.
Wow.
The players vote on who should get the single digits from 0 to 9.
Them single digits is elite.
Yeah, they're elite, no doubt.
That's
so
elite.
Last year, Vincent Shavers wore 1, but he actually switched up. So he actually wasn't 1, but he switched up. So we'll see if they're going to give out number 1. The rumor was number 1 might go to Dylan Raiola. That was the rumor. We don't know if that'll happen, but that was the rumor out there. We'll see if that happens.
That'd be cool.
If he's, obviously deserving of a single-digit number, but he's got the whole relationship with 15, and he's being a fan of Tim Tebow and all that. So we'll see. Number 2, AP Top 25 came out.
Ooh.
For the first time.
Let's hear it.
In college football history of the AP, Texas is starting the season number 1. Isn't that crazy to think about? All those years.
I know.
They've never started the season number 1.
Even when Vince Young did his thing.
Nope, they weren't number 1.
Wow.
Matter of fact, they had to beat Ohio State that year, and which I believe was game 2 of the season to move up and advance to number 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why, in some odd reason, is USC versus Texas in that game, very,
2005 National Championship?
That was crazy for some reason. And I watch it back, I see him run in, but I remember the moment how I felt when he did it.
Yep. That was huge. That was huge because remember, USC had the chance to put the game out of reach. They had fourth and one, and they convert the 4th and 1. They give the ball to Reggie Bush. He gets the first down. Game's over.
Yeah.
They give the ball to Lindell White. He stumbles. He doesn't get the first down.
Lightning.
Bam! They come back and score.
Dang.
You also have 6 Big Ten teams.
Okay.
10 SEC teams in the list.
Right.
4 from the Big 12, and I believe 2 from the ACC.
What's the Big Ten teams?
The Big Ten teams would be Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, and I'm missing one more. It's not USC. Who am I missing? Oregon.
Oh, yeah.
Oregon. Those are, because actually you have, so there was 6 teams this year that got first place votes.
Yeah.
And one of them actually was Oregon.
Dang.
Oregon got a first place vote as well.
Oregon's like that, though.
Along with Texas got the most with 25, and then there's Penn State got some.
Yeah.
And Oregon, as I mentioned, got one.
Right.
And Clemson got some too as well. So
okay.
And then the third headline, added to the Bud Crawford, Canelo Alvarez fight, some undercard fights.
Come on, man.
Good ones. This is going to be a good one.
Yeah.
Christian Mbili will face Lester Martinez. These are 2 undefeated guys. One guy is 29-0 with 24 knockouts. Lester Martinez is 19-0 with 16 knockouts.
Yep.
Mbili currently is the undefeated super middleweight title holder. He's got the interim title at 168.
Yeah.
And then they have these 2 guys, Callum Walsh, who's 14-0 and 11 knockouts, against Fernando Vargas Jr.
Yeah, I know.
That's how I know I'm old. And combined, those 2 guys together are 31-0 with 26 knockouts.
Yeah.
So it's actually going to be a really good undercard. We don't always get that, but it's going to be a good undercard. So that's going to be nice.
Man, just call me crazy. I try not to feel biased.
Yeah.
I just think Bud's going to smoke this guy.
I don't know if he's going to smoke him like he did, obviously, against Errol Spence.
Yeah, right.
But I think he wins the fight. Here's the hard part about this thing. Because Canelo's been a champion and been considered what he is for so long.
You can still be the face in boxing and get smoked.
I wonder if he's got to get stopped for Crawford to win a decision.
Yeah.
That's what I wonder.
Yeah.
If he's got to stop him to win a decision.
I respect that, too.
I don't know. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm with you. I think he wins.
So you're trying to say, like, if you leave it up to the judges, you ain't going home with no belt.
I really don't know.
Yeah.
Because Canelo is so popular.
And it's business.
The crowd is going to be a pro-Canelo crowd. You're going to get a lot of reaction every time he does something. I mean, you'll get some with Bud, but not as much.
Floyd
so I don't know.
beat De La Hoya.
But he beat De La Hoya.
Yeah,
he beat De La Hoya. But Floyd was, and De La Hoya was popular, but so was Floyd.
For sure.
Bud, for a lot of people, as good as he's been, and
he's like,
unifying multiple titles, he's not as well known as Canelo Alvarez is. True. So, look, I'm not saying he can't win a decision, because if Bud dominates him and they go 12 rounds and he's the guy to dominate him, and you can tell, then maybe they'll give him a decision. But I think Bud might have to stop him.
For sure.
Might have to stop him. Coming up, our guest this week, longtime Omaha World Herald columnist Tom Shatel joins us next right here on the Let It Fly Show. All right, welcome back to the Let It Fly Show. We are joined by a longtime columnist with the Omaha World Herald, Tom Shatel, joining us. I say long time. How many years?
September 1st, 1991.
Wow. So 34 years in September.
Well, and I don't know. I want to know how old you were then.
You're 36.
I was 1 year old, turning
35.
2.
Okay. So
I'm 30. I'll be 36 on Halloween.
I get it.
Okay.
I get it. Yeah. That's perfect.
Yeah.
It means I'm still here.
Yes, no. And
this is better than not being here.
Exactly. Every day that you wake up above ground. And on top of all of that, new venture, you're a podcaster now.
Yes.
That's nice.
Tell us about your podcast.
Because the world is all about podcasting.
That's right.
Now. That's what people do now. They just plug in their deal in the car and drive for an hour, and here's what you do. So,
everything gets downloaded every morning.
My longtime friend and colleague Barry Tremble, he's like Mr. Oklahoma.
Sure.
Sent me a text or email in April and said, "Do you want to do a college football podcast?" I said, "Yeah, I think so."
Yeah, right.
What do you got in mind? And so he just said, I can't find a college football podcast that I really like out there, so I'm going to do my own.
Oh, okay.
So
respect.
And he said, but I don't want to do old stuff. I want to do current. Mm-hmm. And he said, I'm with the SEC. You cover the Big Ten, and let's just go. So I said, all right, I got the perfect name for it. We call it Tom and Barry. And that's the original, right?
Yeah, Barry Sanders.
But it's a nod to Osborne and Switzer,
right?
Yeah,
sure.
Who were the reasons we got into college football, because it was so cool back then to follow those teams.
Yeah,
and that's where we lived, and so I kind of like that.
Was Dennis Dodd jealous?
Oh no, he's retired.
He's retired.
Now.
I know. He's still doing some stuff. I noticed.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some glory days. 1991, you started. You've seen a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen Creighton go to the Big East. You've seen the greatest college football team of all time in the Huskers. You've seen so many things. Talk about some. I don't know what to call it, like some stories from your career.
Yeah, I got a million of them. I feel like, when I got here, I've told the story about driving here for my job interview, and I drive around 480. I'm coming up from I was the.
And you were working in Kansas City?
The Dallas Morning News.
Dallas Morning News, okay.
The Cowboys were playing the Chiefs in an exhibition game in August. Mm-hmm. I talked them into let me help cover that, and I just drove up to do the interview. And driving around 480, and I see one building. It was like the Woodman Tower, right? Mm-hmm. I said, that can't be downtown. There's no way. That's it. And so I wind around to what's the exit down here?
14th Street.
14th Street. And the World Herald's supposed to be around here someplace.
Yeah.
I'm looking for it, and I see this building. I said, that's the post office, right? No, it was the World Herald. A little two-story building. Uh-huh. And I stayed at the Red Lion, which was now the DoubleTree, on 16th and Dodge. We went to a place called Scribbles in the Old Market for dinner, where they had crayons at your table, and you could like draw on the mat.
Pun intended, I guess.
My kids love those.
Okay, it was pretty good food. Yeah. And so I'm going to go out to my the sports editor's house to have a beer later and just talk. Steve Sinclair, who long covered Nebraska and Creighton.
Sure. And
where he's driving me on this road, we're going forever on this same road. I'm going, what? We've been on this road for 20 minutes. What is this? He goes, Dodge Street.
Dodge Street.
I said, okay. Post office, one building,
long road,
Scribbles, and Dodge Street. I said, there's no way I can take this job.
Right.
And then I met everybody, and it was college football. And I said, this is my chance to be a columnist and cover my first love in the Big Eight.
Yep.
And so I did it. And I'll never forget I was a Big Eight guy. I did Big Eight basketball then was
Bruce
very top.
It was really good.
And I'll never forget that first year I covered them, 91, 92. They were coming off a great year, but they were struggling in January. They got waxed at home by OU. And I go in the locker room was open. I go in the locker room and I'm start talking to these guys. Well, do you think you're probably going to the NIT now? It was our end of January. Mm-hmm. And Chubbuck goes, bull bleep. He goes, we're not going to any NIT. And he points his finger in my face and goes, write it down. And sure enough, they ended up upsetting KU and Oklahoma State at home, 2 top 10 wins.
Wow.
And they go to the tournament. Where they play UConn, and get hammered. But I'll never forget my first trip to Creighton. I'm walking into the old gym, the old
the wind-up stairs.
It was the horseshoe. It was like a giant rectangle, and all the coaches' offices were around the rectangle, the hallways. And I went back and said, where is the SID? And it was Kevin Sarver, the great Kevin Sarver.
Oh, really? Wow.
And he was in the very back.
Damn.
So I walked all the way back there, knocked on his door, introduced myself, and we talked. Going to a Creighton game, man. Again, I was a Big Eight guy.
Sure.
And I went to Rick Johnson's opening game was at Iowa State. So I was very familiar with the Hilton Coliseum.
Sure.
Me and Piv drove. Of course, Piv's style was the game ends at 10:30. We finish at midnight. He's driving back.
Right.
I'm usually getting in a hotel trying to find a bar.
Yeah.
He's going back. So we go back, and but things did not go well. To me, I remember going to the Civic Auditorium.
Yep.
The giant media room had his big Missouri Valley sign on the wall. Back then, you went up to the second floor, and they had a J-backer room that was about half the size of this place.
Wow.
And they had a giant bowl of popcorn and a little bar. Mm-hmm. And that was a Creighton game.
Yeah.
And there was probably about 1,000 people at the games. And then remember I was at the Final Four in '94, and I got a call from the office. Hey, Creighton had just fired Johnson,
right?
And nobody really knew Bruce Rasmussen. He was the women's basketball coach and the AD, great guy to hang out with. But okay, well, who's he going to be able to hire? They don't have a arena or or in the Valley, and they said well, they just hired Dana Altman. And I just passed out. I knew Dana from K-State.
K-State, right?
Yeah.
I knew what a hell of a coach he was, and he wasn't appreciated at K-State. Because they expected to be KU, and he didn't have the players yet. He was just starting out. So,
dang.
And if you'd told me back in '94, of course Dana gets here, and he's got Nate King, his big man, and he's got a bunch of other guys, and they struggled, but he kept building and building. But if you told me back then that one day I would be, they'd be going to the tournament, and they'd be beating Florida, and they would be beating Louisville.
Yeah.
And they would be, then you'd have the Big East, and you'd be doing, I just told Josh, last week Creighton got a commit from some guy, I guess, who's a 4-star.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's very good.
Yeah.
But it was like no reaction. It was like, oh, ho-hum.
Well, now it's all about the portal. We don't talk about recruits anymore.
Well, I know, but it's also like this is what they do now.
They do now, right?
This is kind of what Creighton is.
It's the new normal.
Is that Mac's greatest accomplishment in everything he's done is turning that into the new normal.
Right.
Yeah.
It might be.
They expect that.
No, I would
spending
expect that.
$7-8 million in the portal. I mean, think about a team like Creighton. Just think about them 10 years ago, spending that kind of money.
It's a tribute to everything that Ras built.
Yep.
I think Ras's name should be on the court.
Yeah, I
Facts.
agree.
Yeah.
I told Mac, well, who would you do, Dana or Mac? Well, obviously Mac now is the all-time leader.
Right.
And he's pushed him farther than Dana. Of course, Dana, just different eras.
Sure.
But, it's a tribute to everything that they've built. Creighton is Omaha's NBA team. They're
Amen.
Omaha's sports franchise.
Sure.
And it's to the point now, almost like a couple of sports at Nebraska, where you will do whatever it takes to make sure it stays up there.
Sure.
Right.
No matter, because people have to have it.
Yeah.
And we're long past the days of, it's beer and this deal. No, it's great basketball. It's a team that works their ass off.
Yep.
And people, and then the Big East. So it's a machine. But yeah, and
they're still late coming back from halftime, Tom.
well, I mean, but I know.
Tom
I know.
Shatel joining us from the Omaha World Herald. I want to go back to the Dallas Morning News because the roster at the Dallas Morning News over the course of the stretch was incredible. Who was there when you were there?
Well, I covered the Cowboys in 1990. I was the backup, the sidekick, which was I was probably suited for. Rick Goslin. The king,
the
of
greatest
pro
draft
football
guy ever. Yeah.
And one of the greatest pro football writers ever.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, he was on the list. If he's not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, he should be.
Yeah.
The Rangers were covered by Tracy Ringlesby and Jerry Fraley, which were both Hall of Fame guys, two of the greatest. I learned so much from them. NBA was Jan Hubbard, who was one of the great NBA writers, and they didn't have hockey back then. But I mean, just on and on.
Yeah.
Ivan Maisel was part of the deal.
Right.
Kalashaw.
Bayless wasn't there at that time, was he?
Who?
Skip Bayless.
Skip Bayless.
When did he get there?
No,
That was later?
when I was in college at Missouri,
Yeah.
he was one of the people I used to read. He was like the late 70s, early 80s. He was a columnist there.
At Dallas, before he left to go to
Yes,
San
then he went
Mercury
to the
News at one point.
the Dallas Times-Herald.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Skip was one of those guys. There were a bunch of guys who worked for the L.A. Times. They were the long-form feature writers. And there was Jim Murray.
Oh, yeah.
Then there was all the other guys. Well, if the guys who got columns everywhere else were these guys who worked for the L.A. Times to write features. So he was one of them.
Oh, okay.
But then he worked at the Times-Herald, and he kind of slid into this guy, the hot take guy, back in 1990.
Yeah.
And
Worked for him.
I mean, I came here and Omaha didn't like I was trying out my style in the early 90s. I didn't know what I wanted to be. It was when Rush Limbaugh used to be. He came into being, and then sports talk kind of followed him. and it became loud, and you had to be
Mike and the Mad Dog.
yes.
Yep.
And so I don't think call it hot take, but just opinionated and unafraid. I tried to do that, and boy, Husker fans were every other day was go back to Missouri.
I found an article that you wrote. I want to say it was 99 or 98, and the headline. I know you don't write the headlines, but it was Solich needs to start throwing the football. Basically, the whole story was about that Solich
I wrote that
needs
about
to start
Osborne.
throwing the ball more, and I was thinking. Yeah, but everything's worked fine running the ball with national championships and big 12 championships, that kind of thing.
We were all people. I say offensive coordinator. Dana Holgerson's the first guy I've ever seen here. Nobody's telling him what to do yet.
Yeah, right. Yeah, sure.
But we all told Osborne, you got to throw it. Colorado's going to beat you. Of course, then they never did.
They never did.
They beat him twice.
Yeah.
But they did it with the option, not necessarily the Cordell Stewart. But here's the thing. I did not appreciate what I was watching until it was gone.
Yeah, that's so true.
When Bill Callahan showed up and it became a circus and it became about him and not the system, I said, "Woo, I want that other thing back."
Yeah.
And it was too late.
And speaking of Husker football now, I've heard everybody give a take on Matt Rhule. What's yours?
Well, he's the perfect coach if he can win. I mean, he does everything off the field correctly. And, man, in his social media, you've got to do that. And that's one thing, whether it's basketball at Creighton, you got to fundraise. You've got to bring the money people in. They expect more. Okay, I'll be happy to do this, but Mac has done that at Creighton. Whether he likes to do it or not, I don't know.
He don't like doing it, but he do what he got to do.
But he's nobody better.
Nope.
And I don't think Hoiberg is into that just yet.
No.
Yeah. But Rhule is. Rhule will do anything and go anywhere. Yeah. He's a guy that just can't sit still.
Right.
So, I mean, he's all over the country. I mean, he might be here, one Phoenix, and then he might be in Jersey or Texas.
MMA, golf tournaments, football games, basketball games. He's everywhere.
So he's perfect.
He went to MMA fights?
He went to UFC.
Oh, dang, that's what's up.
He's gone to a couple of them,
yeah. And I think he truly enjoys all that stuff.
He does.
It's not an act.
He does.
But I do think he can coach. I think this is the best coaching staff since Osborne.
Wow. That's a big statement.
Maybe the early Solich when they had the old gang together.
So they were still there.
And they hadn't run out of gas. They hadn't
before Charlie retired.
Gotcha.
99.
Yeah, I think this is based on John Butler. We'll see.
Yeah.
But he's certainly got he's got a hell of a resume.
Yeah.
He's not a guy that's tagging along.
Yeah. Hadn't called a lot of plays as a defensive coordinator except for those 2 years at Penn State. Right. But other than that, he certainly got the credentials from the NFL as a secondaries coach.
I think so. So we'll see.
Yeah. Todd Shatel joining us here on Let It Fly show. I want to go back because at the end of the old Big 12, when Nebraska left and everybody, the Missouri-Nebraska rivalry had gotten really good.
Yes.
When you were in school, what was that like?
It was always my introduction to it was Warren Powers.
Okay.
Now, maybe the first introduction to it.
Who had been an assistant coach at Nebraska?
Yeah. He was, and then he played for the Raiders, and he played at Nebraska. Went to the Raiders, came back and coached with the Monty Kiffin, Bob Devaney staff, and he was one of those guys who didn't like it when they gave the job to Tom, and not Monty Kiffin, but. My first introduction was the 1976 game. I'm in my dorm room at Missouri. I'm a freshman, and it's the ABC game of the week. And, of course, Nebraska's supposed to win. Missouri that year, they opened up the season at USC. They beat USC on the road.
Oh, wow.
They won at Missouri or at Nebraska. They beat somebody else, and then they lose to Iowa State at home, and it was to KU at home. So that's kind of how they rolled. But I remember 96-yard touchdown pass beat Nebraska that year. It was in Lincoln. Missouri won in Lincoln a lot.
So they won in 76 and 78.
And they beat them in 73, 76, 78.
Wow.
And there's probably some other time too. So Powers comes, and he's from Nebraska, and he has all these guys on his staff who played in Nebraska and coached there. Saving Uralian, Mark Heidorf, John Feynman, the longtime Bellevue West coach, was his offensive line coach. And they had all these guys, and his strength coach was from Nebraska, Dave Redding. He was another former Husker disciple of the great Epley.
Yeah.
And so I'll never forget Nebraska week. We're watching practice, and there's all these red jerseys out there.
Yeah.
And the scout team was dressed in red jerseys on purpose.
Yeah.
Because this is a serious situation. And then he beats them in 78, which was the first time I went to Lincoln.
Which was huge.
And then they didn't beat him again until
2000.
Yeah,
So
2003.
2003.
They didn't beat him again until, imagine that. They almost beat 97. But it became a really bitter deal.
It did.
And that was, people said, well, Colorado is the rival. Big Husker fans hated Missouri more than they did Colorado. But they had the history there. And then
where were you standing for the flea kicker? Were you still
I
in the
was
press
in the
box?
far end zone. We're
come
down
down
there
already.
getting ready
Yep.
to get
Right.
ready to. I mean, they're going to lose.
Right.
They're undefeated and they're going to lose. Nobody knows it's Osborne's last year except him.
Yeah.
And so
Jason Peter and Wister.
Yeah. But so we're down there, and I'm next to Mike Babcock, and we're going, well, it was a hell of a run, and they got this last drive going, and down to the final play, and all of a sudden the sprinklers come on because they're trying.
Wow.
The students are going to storm the field to turn on the goalpost. They turn the sprinklers on to get the students off. Meanwhile, the other end of the field, Frost catches the snap, goes back to pass, throws the ball, and all I see, all these hands, the ball pops up in the air. And the next thing I see is, I thought, well, it's over. And the Nebraska side is celebrating.
Yeah.
Going, oh, my, what did I miss?
Yeah. I'm assuming they didn't have a big screen.
No.
Yeah.
So I missed that. I missed, my daughter went to Missouri, and our youngest just went down there in July to visit, and I missed that trip. It's a crying shame that they had to leave the Big 12. I know things are better off financially.
I know.
But there's no rival. Iowa's not. It
ain't the same.
Iowa's like an annoyance.
Even going to Iowa State where they had great tailgating.
It's just
and the drive to Columbia and even Lawrence. I mean, they beat them all. Nebraska beat them all the time, but it's still pretty. Sit up in the press box and all the green. And
I tell people, people still get mad at Texas City. It wasn't Texas.
It wasn't. And Nebraska also voted the same time Texas did to not start a Big 12 network. They both did it.
Yes.
They were the only two no votes.
But back in the 90s, when Osborne really got mad, when it formed, they had all these 11-1
votes, right, sure.
about the commissioner and the conference office and
Prop 48.
Partial qualifiers,
right.
It was Iowa State, K-State, and the other Big 8 schools ganging up on Nebraska.
Yeah.
They led the charge. They said, well, Nebraska, and you understand, 94, 95, Nebraska was going undefeated and beating the hell out of everybody.
Yeah.
So they had a great incentive to vote Nebraska down and knock them out. Texas was just happy to, we'll take the blame. We don't care.
Yeah.
We just want to be in charge. So that was never about Texas. And but you're right about the network stuff. It was Tom just had this grudge, and he was never going, all the Big 12 championships games going to Dallas. There's Texas again. But it was the right move. It was the right play. So I'll never get used to the Big Ten. I tell people this, and part of this is my fault. In 15 years, whenever it's been 14 years, I've met like one or two SIDs. They don't want to talk to you. I've met like 3 or 4 writers. Some of them guys are good guys, but most of they don't acknowledge you. A lot of the press boxes are like separated. Home team over here, visitors over here, and nobody talks to each other.
Ohio State, yeah.
That's just not my style.
Yeah. I got something I think about. 91 all the way to now. 1997, the split of the national championship between the Huskers and the Michigan. What's your take on that? I read articles and I think about the great offense versus the great defense or whatever. What's your honest opinion?
I have a couple of different takes. But my first take was I got engaged when all that was going on.
You and Jim got engaged? Okay.
Okay.
Down in South Beach.
Yeah.
All right.
And my friend Blair Kirchhoff famously told Osborne the next day, hey, by the way, Tom got engaged last night. He goes to his last press conference at the Orange Bowl, and he's answering all these questions. I asked the final question, and he goes, after he answers it, he goes, oh, by the way, I understand Tom got engaged last night, and the room erupts, and I'm trying to hide. And then he pauses because he has a great effect for his timing. He goes, now there's an upset. People are crazy again. And, I got it on Channel 7. We got the tape.
Right.
She went crazy.
At the anniversary party,
That's what I remember. Then I went back to my room and wrote a column about, Michigan won the Rose Bowl. I don't think Nebraska's got a chance because there was so much hype around Brian Greasy and Michigan hadn't won. Yeah. And they were people were still mad about Lawrence Phillips. Yeah. That cost Tommy the Heisman. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I still insist on that. Sure. They were mad about that whole deal, and they were, a lot of the media guys were tired of Tom, but the coaches weren't.
You knew the coaches
were gonna, and so I thought, I just don't know if the coaches will. We'll just have to see. And as it turned out, as a San Diego Chargers fan, I would say, okay, Michigan beat Ryan Leaf. Yeah. And Nebraska beat the hell out of Peyton Manning.
An injured Peyton Manning, yeah.
What do you want to compare the two. Michigan just squeaked by Ryan Leaf.
It's a Colorado game. That's your differentiating. Right? You had the Michigan, how they played Colorado, and how Nebraska played Colorado. Yeah. That should have been, because you only really can judge based off of common opponent. Yeah. And that's your common opponent. So
we found out it was like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah, that's right.
Long after deadline, and the vote came out, and I think ESPN, I think it was Fowler, announced it. He goes, the coaches' vote has come in, and Nebraska's national champion. Yeah. So
today they would have had the money to put that game together. Today they would have put that. Yeah. They'd have put that game together.
If you had to tell them, I don't know who would have won that. I think Nebraska's defense was not getting enough credit.
I think they're wet.
And the Missouri game kind of hurt them on that. Yeah. But
Kirby Jones had the great game of his life.
But they destroyed A&M, and I just feel like. I just think that Nebraska was going to, and they beat Lloyd Carr in 2005. So, Callahan did. So, I don't know. I just think Michigan was pretty much a straightforward Big Ten team. I think Nebraska probably had a little more firepower.
Yeah, okay. I think Nebraska would have warmed down. That's what I always say.
Yeah,
I think it's a close game for 3 quarters, and then Nebraska just wears them down.
Like the Miami game.
Yeah, with the run game. On September 5th, the Omaha World Herald is having a Big Red brunch, and it's the celebration of the 30th anniversary of the 1995 championship.
Come on, man.
When you think about that, though, first of all, I can't believe it's 30. I had to do the math over in my head when I was talking to people about it. But you think about that team and all of that talent. There's no way you could have thought at the time that Nebraska was only a few years away from going into just something where we don't know the team. Yeah. You're talking a good solid 15, almost 20 years.
But what makes them the greatest team of all time, though?
Well, the guy I'm going to talk to tomorrow, I'm very excited about interview number 15, Tommy Fraiser. Yep. Very excited about that. Yep. I'm excited he wants to talk to her. He'll agree to talk to me. No, he and I have always had a good relationship. Yeah. But
you never know with Tommy.
He doesn't always like. Yeah. But that team, to me, doesn't get the due. And that does sound stupid for some. Well, they have the greatest team, ever. But I think people who were around that didn't give that team the due it deserved because of Lawrence Phillips. He was the headline. He was the story. He followed all the way to Tempe, Arizona. Yeah. And after that game, there were writers screaming in the press box because they piped in the post game and they just killed Florida. Florida was very cocky, and Nebraska just whoop.
Could have gotten 70.
Well, and so. But the first thing Osborne talked about is the Big 12 presidents and how he doesn't like what they're doing, and he's very upset, and he just won back-to-back national titles. Yeah. And so people were yelling, they didn't. Nobody. People were down on him. Tom was in bad mood. And the next morning, they had the day after press conference.
Yeah, the old times.
And okay, coach, here's all you're in all your glory. Tell us how you did it. All that stuff. Tom looked like he was. It looked like he was dead. It looked like he was. His head was down. He was talking softly. He was hoarse. He looked like just. He was very down. He was worn down to the bone.
Sure.
And he kind of did it to himself.
Yeah.
Because he brought him back. And I always said you don't need to bring him back on the field. If you got to keep LP around
the team,
the structure and the dining hall and all that stuff, fine. But he can't play. So thank God there wasn't email or Twitter back then. Oh my God. It was bad enough. But anyway,
they would have been video too. So if it was now,
it just sucked the life out of that. I remember my friend Chuck Culpepper.
Yeah.
Afterwards, he wrote this incredible column about he saw like a Nebraska flag or a banner at a shop, and he goes, "Should I buy this as a souvenir?" And he went through the pros and cons. Yes, because this team was one of the all-time teams. And they deserve no because of this and that all this happened, and I don't want to remember it. That's kind of how it was. Yeah. That team played above it and through it, and it was an incredible team of discipline, coaching, and we
NFL
knew it.
Players.
We knew it. Yeah,
a lot of NFL players.
We knew it at the second game of the year, East Lansing.
Yeah,
they come out of the gate. They beat Oklahoma State and Stillwater bad.
Second game.
They always do that.
Michigan State game.
Michigan State.
Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's when after the LP put on a show, I'm thinking this guy's going to win the Heisman because of his story.
Yeah.
First of all, he's that good, but think about it. A guy growing up on the streets of LA. Yep. People will play into that. ESPN will embrace it, and then of course that happens.
Yeah.
But after that game, Tom shakes Saban's hand and goes, "You're not as bad as you think."
Man!
And after one of his national titles, Saban told that story.
Yep.
After the game, it was funny to hear it. But yeah, Mike,
we're pretty good.
I just
that's what he said.
That's legendary, man.
We're pretty good.
Yeah.
But the story of that game or that season to me is still Colorado, where they went out there, and Colorado's still really good. They got a new coach in Neuheisel.
Yep.
They're coming out of the tunnel. They don't come out of the tunnel. They have the team run onto the field through the stands. And they've got this guy dressed up as a Samoan warrior pounding drums under the scoreboard. They're wartime. This guy's doing his thing. The crowd's in a lather. And the players are coming out of the stands, running down the steps. And I guess Osborne had told the team before the game, if you have to do that, you don't think you can win.
Yeah.
So they played the perfect game.
Yeah.
And Tommy, I once asked Tommy, I said, okay, what about the run against Florida? And he goes, I don't like that run. He goes, that's not, people think that's my favorite. And he goes, not even close. I don't even like it. He goes, it doesn't count because those guys had already quit.
Wow.
His favorite play, I said, I think I know what it is. It was mine too. Colorado, second quarter.
Third down. Yep.
Yeah, there's a third down pass to Mon Green.
Yep.
My boy.
And Tommy's getting hit. I believe it was by the All-American one of the All-American linebackers, Matt Russell or somebody like that. Just clobbers Tommy. He still completes the pass as he's going down. And he's not sacked. He completes the pass.
Yep.
That's his favorite play. And tells you everything about that guy. I still insist, I'm going to write this, Tommy Fraiser, his greatness was understated. It was not flashy. He was not flashy. He made big plays. But his greatness was he lifted the team up.
Made everyone around him
made
better.
everybody better.
Yeah.
And to me, he inspired number 15, Tim Tebow. I remember Tim Tebow's senior year, I had heard that he loved Fraiser because he grew up in Florida.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'd heard that Urban Meyer loved Osborne. So in July, I called the Florida SID. I said, hey, here's what I'm looking at. Can I have 5 minutes with these guys?
Yeah.
He goes, let me get back to you. About a week before, he goes, all right, next Wednesday after practice, they both agreed to talk to you for just 5 minutes. So he would call me on my phone. It wasn't, it was a cell phone.
Yeah.
So he goes, yeah, I'm here. I'm here with Coach Meyer. Hands me the phone. I ask him about Osborne. Yeah, the zone read is based on the option.
Yep.
I always wanted to be Osborne and those teams, and I learned everything from him. Blah blah blah. And then, okay, thanks, Coach. Hold on, here's Tim. Hands me the phone to Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
Sitting at my desk in Omaha.
Yeah.
Tim, tell me about Tommy. Yeah, Tommy Fraiser was my hero. That's why I wear 15.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
That's amazing.
Guess who wears 15 because of Tebow?
Don't tell me.
Yeah.
I already know.
Raiola. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dylan Raiola.
I knew he was about to say that.
Dylan works out with Mahomes,
Yeah.
but he's a Matthew Stafford guy.
Right.
He grew up, his dad was in Stafford, are like best friends.
Yeah.
Man.
Detroit Lions, yeah.
And that's his Raiola's godfather is Stafford.
Wow.
So, but Tebow was his guy.
Tebow was a guy, yeah.
And so,
Dang.
I'm going to write about this. Think about the connection there.
I know.
Fraiser to Raiola.
Yep.
Through Tebow.
That's legendary.
How about that?
Yep. So
That's crazy.
they in one of in the
That's
Devaney
cool.
book
That's cool.
that Henry Cordes did, there's a line in there where Osborne says, we were a good team, and then we got Johnny Rodgers and we became a championship team. The exact same thing's true with Tommy.
Yes.
They were a good team.
Yes.
Tommy Fraiser made them a championship
And
team.
was he making plays that Turner Gill hadn't necessarily, or Steve Taylor hadn't necessarily done? I don't know.
Right.
But he was doing things they hadn't done because when he was out there, and I forget Damon Benning told me the story. But
Yeah, he did.
the 93 UCLA
game, yeah.
Damon messes something up.
He fumbled.
Or something, yeah. And Fraiser ran over to the sideline and told Osborne, get this guy out of here.
Get him out.
Yeah.
And he was a
He had
sophomore when he
completely
did that.
He had complete control.
He could do that.
Yeah.
And so to me, that's his legacy, is the impact of
Respect.
a program.
Yeah.
And then to me, that's what Raiola should be trying to match.
Yes.
Not highlight plays, not incredible stats,
Man.
but impact of a program lifting everything up.
Yeah.
That's the legacy of Tommy Fraiser.
Yeah, Tommy Fraiser for me, I was old enough to see what was going on.
Yeah.
I became a Husker fan because of Tommy Fraiser. 100%.
A lot of guys did. A lot of people got named Tommy, too.
Tommy's, didn't have time for the attention, didn't have time for all the other stuff.
Yeah.
He was all business.
Yes.
And that's what made it work. I just love, he's one of my, I think he's the greatest quarterback in Nebraska history.
Sure.
I put him number 2.
In front of Crouch?
Yeah.
I put him number 2.
Well, I can see that, obviously.
I think Turner-
and I love Crouch.
Yeah.
I think Turner Gill, most people would put him ahead of Crouch.
I mean, winning a Heisman is great, but winning the national championship and the way you led it makes you actually better than a Heisman Trophy winner.
I think 95 would have repeated 83 if Phillips hadn't gotten in trouble.
Dang.
And that where the running back got the Heisman and the quarterback didn't.
Yes.
But yeah, he's number 1 quarterback. Overall, he's number 2 behind Johnny.
Respect.
Johnny's number 1.
Yeah.
To me, without question.
Right.
Total package.
In front of Lawrence Phillips.
And Johnny's still being Johnny.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's still doing the Heisman thing. I love it. I can't get enough of it because he can't get enough of it.
Johnny in his last game played running back. And when he played running back and he threw a touchdown pass, he caught a touchdown pass, and he ran for a touchdown pass.
That's crazy.
Ran for a touchdown in that game.
So top 5 then.
I
overall
go,
Huskers.
I'd probably go, Johnny, Tommy, Remington.
Okay,
third.
Dave. Okay.
Remington third. And these are guys I saw. I mean, Glover's got to be up
Rich
there.
Rich Glover's got to be there.
Got to be 4.
22 tackles versus Oklahoma.
I mean,
he was a number 2. He was the Heisman runner-up.
So would Sue be 5 then?
I don't know.
There were people
like
better than Sue like
That's a
that?
tough one.
Well,
I mean, you've seen a lot of football, man, 91 to now.
well, I think of Sue as the Gator Bowl and then the 2009 season.
I got
Yeah.
you. I
don't think of Sue as
No, he had a
before the
hell of
Gator
a
Bowl.
season.
You had Jason Peter and you had Grant Wistrom. Grant Wistrom won 3 national championships.
Yeah.
He was back-to-back. He was a Big 12 player of the year. He was defensive player of the year. He won the Outland, won the Lombardi, all that stuff. Sue did all that too.
Right.
But really in 1.5 years
that's-
where
So
Grant
Sue
did it
had
in 4.
Sue had great seasons, but
Yeah.
A great season and a half.
I
Really.
got you.
It's a great question.
It's a great argument.
I'd love to hear Lee Barfneck's take or Hamilton or some of those guys.
I think they should retire Grant Wistrom's number. I would retire Grant Wistrom's number. I would put that up in the rafters. That's what I would do. He was that great. Last thing before we let you go, we could cut you for a very long time. So everybody talks about the third-year bump for Matt Rhule.
Yeah.
What is, in your mind, a successful season, a successful bump
I'm so
in
glad
this
you
year?
asked that because I've been asked that so many times. And my answer is I don't know, and nobody will know until December.
Until it happens.
Because not only what happens, but how does it happen?
Right.
I mean, you can have this great year. Iowa comes in and spanks them.
Yeah.
That's not a very good year. I mean, it's how does it's time to play football. It's time to not shake hands. It's time to not do all this other stuff. Where's the pregame prayer?
Respect.
Where are we doing? How are we? It's time to play
football.
It's time for the offensive line to be dominant.
Go to work.
Yeah.
It's time for the defense, to be okay. You lose some guys, but you come back as good or better. It's time for special teams to be what they've always been.
Yeah.
And instead of this joke. So, I mean, I just think, and to me, Nebraska football was never about a number. It was never about number 9 or 10. It was about winning big games. You had 2 or 3 of them a year, and you always won them.
Right.
And no matter where they were, you won them. And you had these great players that were, doing all these things.
Yeah.
And so to me, it'll be. I'll tell you in December what happened, how did it look, how did it feel? Does it feel like it's better? It needs to feel like it's measurably better this year.
Yeah, I like what you're saying because we actually had Coach on the show,
Darlington,
and he said something that it mirrors you. And I asked him something similar in the kind of the fashion of how I'm asking. Michael's asking you, and to him, 9 games is a winning season.
He's like, that's the standard at Nebraska.
Like the standard is 9 games or more.
But to me, the standard was how they played, not necessarily the number, because the way they played got you the number.
But that's what he said.
Yeah.
He said, don't focus on winning, focus on the reps, the effort, the practices, the play-by-play, and we'll get to the – it's the same.
I wish I'd known that back then.
It's the same.
I was an idiot, like people focusing on the number and sort of this thing. Once it was gone, I figured out what it was all about.
Yeah.
And which was great for me, not to bring Creighton into this, but when Dana started doing his thing, it was right about the time I started figuring out what Osborne and Dana and Osborne are very much alike.
Yeah.
And
oh my gosh, that's
what
true.
he was doing at Creighton was what Nebraska had been doing, and then Matt came in and kept doing it with better players.
Yes.
And so that's where Creighton basketball is right now. It's about how they do it, and they're going to win some, they're going to lose some, they're going to win a lot more, but you can't judge them by Sweet 16 or leading.
Right.
Other people do. It's like, okay, did they get everything out of their team? And, so that's to me the answer to the question is. Ask me how's that for an answer? But I think
that's a perfect answer.
Sure.
Because again, if you go to the end, you go to Penn State. Those last 4 games, at UCLA, USC, at Penn State, Iowa. I could lose all 4 of those.
Right.
And it wouldn't be an upset.
Because Nebraska's good, but as you said, they're getting better.
They're not losing to UCLA this year. I guarantity that.
They need to.
I think I picked them to lose at
They're not
UCLA.
losing to UCLA this year. I guarantee that.
I think there's a couple game-changing,
That's a bad team.
image-making games. USC beat USC at home.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got to beat Iowa.
Yeah.
Got to beat them.
Yep.
Well, like they had to beat Wisconsin last year. It's
Right.
time.
Yep.
They could go to Penn State and win.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how good anybody's going to be in November.
Yeah.
But Nebraska, that wouldn't be that big of a
Penn State's loaded.
surprise.
That's going to be probably a 15 to 17 point
But I
line.
think, but if you have a quarterback if he's playing at the level we hope or think,
Right.
you can go do that.
Right.
If there's other parts to it,
Right.
Or, but
just that building.
But I just think the last 4 games will tell you what kind of year it's been.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
My last one for me is a Creighton question.
Yeah.
So Mac's last dance.
He won't tell you.
Right. We both know that. My thing is this.
2 or 3 years, right?
What do you feel about – I just don't know if I'm big on, like, passing the torch versus doing something new in culture. I don't know. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But, like, it seems like he's, like, leaving it to Coach Huss. And obviously he'll remix it in his own style. But he'll keep that energy. But do you feel like Creighton basketball should go a different direction?
Are we giving Huss too much credit? That's an interesting question. Everybody thinks it's a home run hire, and I think it probably is. But first of all, I don't think he's not going to tell anybody because he won't want the story. Like he won't before the season. Well, here we go.
Yeah, it's going to be a distraction.
Celebration everywhere he goes.
Every game will be about him.
Right. True.
Every time they're on TV, the conversation will be about him.
Yeah.
Yep.
He won't want. There's no way he'll want that.
Yeah.
What I think what'll happen is after the season, a week after like NCAA tournament, they lose or win the national championship. Week later, he'll come up and go, "Well, here it is. I'm done."
We'll wake up
because you have to give Huss time to go into the portal as the head coach.
Yeah.
He'll go, "Well, see you later."
Outside of Huss and D-Rock, I was like excited, but I'm not saying Huss is not the guy, and I'm all for him being there. But whoever is there, like I kind of want to see something new.
See, that's what got Nebraska in the trouble.
Yeah. Okay.
With Steve Peterson, I'm tired of this stuff.
Let's
get something new. And so Creighton doesn't need new. They just need to hit the right shots in March.
I respect that.
They've got a Final Four type team.
I respect
They just got to go do it. But yeah, I mean, but Huss looks like the perfect coach for these next times.
Yeah.
He likes.
He's big on the NIL. I'll tell you that.
He's big on NIL.
Yeah,
He's big on recruiting. He'll do all the interviews, and when they introduced him, he was over there talking to us for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Mac comes in, just talking to us. Mac comes out and goes, "Are you still here? I got to teach you to just."
That's Mac, man.
Say a few words and get the hell out of here.
Mac is funny.
And I said, "Get away from him! Don't leave him alone." So, Huss, I think, will be the perfect guy offensively. Their identity's perfect.
Okay.
They're not going to have the Big East, giant bullies.
Yeah.
As Raz said, the big boys in the Midwest all play football.
Right.
They play basketball.
Yeah.
So they're going to have that. Their style is perfect for them. It's let it fly.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I think it's perfect. And then we'll sit back and watch.
Amen.
Last thing, I always quote Tom because he said it to me a long time ago. He said, as journalists, we don't cheer for teams. We cheer for the story.
Amen.
And this season, I think this is going to be a story that's going to be fun to write and be fun to cover and fun to podcast. I think it's going to be a heck of a story.
I really think the best coaching staff, they got some young guys, we don't know, but I think Holgerson and Eckler or anybody in the country would want them.
Even Snow. This guy has been a defensive coordinator for 30 years.
And I love that. See, Pelini and Frost never did that. We have to have Ocean's 11
guys,
around me. We get the band back together. And one of my regrets is when Frost came and brought that staff, not questioning it more because they hadn't done anything.
Yeah.
They won 1 year with somebody else's players.
Yep.
And
had no Big Ten experience. That was
and
my
I
thing.
just
No Big Ten experience.
I blew it. I totally blew that one. Oh well, I'm over it. But I think and Rhule is a guy anybody would probably want. So the question is with the culture. The third year is all about team has moved up together. In this day and age with the portal, a lot of those guys aren't. A lot of these guys is their first year.
Yeah.
So they haven't been there through it together.
Yeah.
But I think they have a chance. But I think they've got a schedule. People, Minnesota, check. Well,
no, I picked a loss there.
But I think, they need to take care of those games when they can. I think Michigan and USC are game-changing wins.
Yep.
And then I think Iowa, it's time.
Must win.
So, that thing last year was like, Iowa made 2 plays at the end and they won the game. By going, how the hell did that happen?
I know, man.
And with all that said, they better win on the 28th. Tom, we appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Awesome.
World Herald. All right, welcome back to Let It Fly Show. Thank you to Tom Shatel.
Yeah, that was cool.
Good stories.
Yeah.
Good stuff going all the way back to when he got here in 1991.
Yeah, right.
And there was one tall building.
Yeah, I was tripping off that.
One tall building.
I was thinking like,
That's before they built the World Herald building. Of course, before they built the tower and everything.
You know what came to my mind when he was describing
First National
stuff?
Bank building?
Horse carriages and horses.
He's like, there was corn right down the middle of the street. It's true about Dodge Street. My mom said the same thing. Because we drove out to Elkhorn for something. And I was like, you know, this is still Dodge Street. She's like, what? I go, yeah, this is still Dodge Street. All the way down there, the Highway 6 turns into, I think it's like
200.
So this is 275. This is Highway 6, and then it like turns off to go like to Wahoo and stuff. Yeah. So that does that too. Thanks to Tom Shatel.
For sure.
We appreciate him for coming in and telling us a bunch of stories. Thank you to him. Of course, Caleb is back producing the show.
Thank you, man.
to Caleb
figuring it out,
as well, figuring stuff out. Mike Allen helping us put all this thing together as well. And Stable Gray for producing this whole thing as well. As a reminder, if you are watching us on YouTube, like and subscribe to the show. We appreciate that. Leave some comments if you want as well. It always helps us. And thank you to Bud Light for being a presenting sponsor because they make it
easy
to drink, easy to enjoy, easy. That's what Bud Light makes it. And as always, thank you for joining us. And take us away, Josh.
Hey, Josh Jones here with Michael Severe. You know how we do it. It's a Let It Fly show. Excellent.